Hello, everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 250? Oh my god, really? 250? Yeah, 250. Goodness. Hooray for arbitrary milestones. We like them round numbers. So, of course, I'm a dork, so I'm like, nah, 250 doesn't mean anything. It's when we get into, like, 256, because it's 2 to the 8th, and that just makes me happy for dumb reasons, you know? So, let me bring up oh, I'm Andrew, by the way. Hi. So, last week I talked about the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which is a compilation of the two Great Ace Attorney games, which were finally localized and released here in the West, which is nice. And I'd been playing them the last week, and I was surprised to find that the premise of the game is our hero, a law student in Japan. Well, he's not a law student. He's just some kid in Japan who's friends with a law student. Goes over to Great Britain at some time near the turn of the 20th century. And gets into legal shenanigans there. I was surprised to find out that nearly every secondary character in the game so far is really racist. Like, everyone's really racist to my character. Does it serve the plot? Not so far. Is there a good character reason to do that? Not so far. Will there be? I don't know. I'm currently some portion of the way through Chapter 5 of the first game. However, I did mention last week that maybe by the end of the game, there will be a good narrative and or character reason for all the characters being really uncomfortably racist. I said I doubted that, but I said it was possible. Well, let me pull up something real quick. Thanks to reader, listener, viewer, where are you? AC. I think I could have remembered that. It's only two letters. AC was kind enough to chime in to the comment section and state that there actually is a point, a narrative and character point to the various characters that you meet being racist towards you. But it does apparently come towards the end of the game. I didn't read the entire... And AC wrote a lot, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much for taking the time. I look forward to reading it once I've actually completed the games. Now, what I found interesting is I streamed the game a bit last Sunday. A bit, like 5 hours. Afterwards, I actually ran across two articles at two different entertainment websites that said essentially the same thing. That the game actually culminates in a reason for the racist portrayals, or racist portrayals, the portrayals of racism. I didn't read the entirety of those articles, much like I did not read all of AC's comments. But what I got out of all three of them is that it actually takes both games. Like, it's yeah, the racism seems a little out of place, but wait until you get to the end of the second game. That's where they really tie a bow on it. Okay, then. I'm surprised to hear that, but cool. I'm glad to hear that. Not to criticize something I have not played all the way through yet, but if you have to get to the end of the second game, there might have been a few things you could have done better. Like, again, keep in mind I have not even completed the first game yet, but at this juncture, my suggestion to make this a bit more palatable would be for your protagonist to acknowledge the racism. Like, for Naruhodo to be like, dude, what the Hexville, man? Like, seriously. Why are you so racist? Yeah, like the most I've seen so far is one woman says, "Who knows what's going through your funny little Japanese minds," or something like that. And your protagonist Naruhodo has a internal monologue that says, "If you knew what was going through my funny little mind, you wouldn't be laughing." That's about it, at least so far. Which makes the racism as it's presented feel how do I want to phrase this? I don't know how best to phrase this. It it makes it feel acceptable because no one, even with an internal monologue, is pushing back against it. Like, I understand why Naruhodo may not actually push back against it, because he is a guest in a foreign place and he's kind of on thin ice all the time as it is, so he doesn't want to jeopardize his or Susan, his judicial assistant, their position. And that sounds like it makes sense, but there's no indication that that's actually the case. There's almost no indication that it's so normalized that it's like your protagonists don't even notice. So perhaps, and I may change my mind after having completed the games, perhaps it would have been a better choice to give both our protagonists some sort of visual or internal dialogue that acknowledges what's going on and the fact that it's not okay. But that said, I've not completed the first game yet, let alone the second, so I'll definitely be interested to see where it goes. For those wondering, I will be playing more of Great Ace Attorney. I will be picking up where we left off next weekend. So tomorrow we're going to go back to Trails in the Sky, as second chapter. And then next week we'll continue through Chapter 5 and get to some courtroom stuff. Because when we played last week, we didn't actually get into court. Someone got murdered. We just started investigating the scene, but we didn't get to experience any of the courtroom shenanigans yet. So, and that's a lot of the fun of the game. So, Matt, sorry, I got hair floating in my face here. Matthew says, 19th century, turn of the century, Britain did treat Asians pretty badly. That's something I brought up last week, too, and that's true, but in a game where realism isn't needed or wanted or used, it's an odd choice to have a realistic portrayal of racism in a game that doesn't portray anything else realistically, unless there's a narrative or character reason to do it. Apparently there is, you just don't know what it is for a while. Like until the end of the second game, which is an odd choice. I'm really interested to see how this is going to see how this is going to go, and if my opinion retroactively changes. But I'm not saying you can't have racist characters in a narrative. Not saying that at all. I'm not even saying that Capcom made a poor choice here. I don't know yet. I don't think it's too early to argue that perhaps Capcom could have done a few things better, as we all can in all cases. No one's perfect. We can all do things better. But on its face, it's like, well, I mean, the legal system is... The technology of the time's not realistic. The legal system is not realistic. The police procedural stuff is not realistic. The characters are not at all realistic. Oh, but the racism, we got to have that in there because that's realistic. What? Why do you care about the realistic racism and nothing else? A little weird. Oh, because there's a narrative and character reason for it. That's a fine reason. Kind of weird to hide the character and narrative reason till the end of the second game, but, you know, we'll see. I will see. And I will let you know what the correct answer is. I will let you know how you should feel about this game. No, again, these are just my reactions, my impressions, my opinions. So if I'm certainly ask if I'm unclear about my position on certain things, but yeah, I'm certainly not speaking for anyone other than myself. So it doesn't matter. Hello. Matthew says, honestly, I kind of commend a Japanese dev for deciding to make an alternate history setting rather authentic for its time period. Again, it depends on what your intention is. And at the point in the game I am in, that intention, to me at least, is not clear. It could be a number of things, but it's just not clear. And I'm not enjoying everyone being racist at me. And I'm a privileged white dude. No one's ever racist at me, because I'm white. You know? I don't have to deal with this shit in real life. And if I'm bothered, with people being mean to me in a video game, I can imagine how someone who actually has to deal with racism might react even more strongly. Or not. Depends on the person. Maybe there is some... And I speculated about this last week. Perhaps there is something particularly therapeutic about finally getting one over on all these racist dipsticks. You know, because the prosecutor and the witnesses and stuff, they're all being racist towards you. But, haha, we've turned this entire trial around. Objection! And I win! Haha, racist numbnut. There might be some catharsis in that. Arguably so. It doesn't feel to me, anyway, that that's what it's going for. But I haven't talked to the creatives behind the game, so I really don't know. But again, as I said, I'm only in the back half of the first game, so we'll see how it wraps up. Bum-de-bum-de-boo. Okay, so, what's next? So, last Sunday, I went to the bathroom. And while there, I was using the toilet in the way it was meant to be used. And I saw on the top of my toilet tank some dust. I didn't know what that was. And I looked up on the wall. Why are the controls for image slideshow are not available when I'm streaming? Well, that makes it completely useless. Oh, there we go. I have to actually highlight it first. There we go. So I'm like, what is this crap on the top of my toilet tank? Huh. And I look up at the wall and I see this little hole in the wall. Like someone had pounded a nail into the wall to hang something up and then removed it. It's hard. I know the scale is bad. Let's back up a bit. You can see it up towards the top there to give you a bit of an idea of the scale. But that hole is a little less than 2 millimeters. It's a very small hole. And so I took a flashlight and I looked inside, and I see Mr. Termite staring back at me. Haughtily. Smugly. Saying, yeah, what you gonna do about it? I just chewed a hole in your bathroom wall so that I can poop sawdust out onto the top of your toilet tank. Either that or termites like to watch me pee. So, yeah, it's termites. So, that's less than ideal. So the next day, Monday, I called my landlord, and I said, "Landlord, lord of all land, I got termites in my the outside bathroom wall. or the bathroom wall that faces the outside. She says, all right, I'll call the pest peoples and should be there sometime tomorrow. And I said, wonderful. Tomorrow came. Tomorrow went. So Wednesday, I called my landlord and said, landlord, lord of all lands. Pest control didn't show up. And she said, yeah, we're still arguing with the company that normally services such requests, and they haven't got back to us, and if they don't by the end of the week, we're gonna have to go with a new service, so hang in there. Well, so I thought I would say termites, not good. Yeah, termites are not good. You know, looking at it a little better than I'm like, can I grab him with a pair of tweezers and yank him out of the wall and slap him? No. Tweezers compared to this dude is really big. Now, he does stick his ass out of the wall occasionally to poop some sawdust, but not really far enough to grab with tweezers. So I thought, and I thought, and I thought again. I thought, you know, I don't like these termites throwing a party in my bathroom wall. And who knows when when pest control will get here. I have to do something, but what? So grab my vacuum cleaner, and using the hose attachment, I put it over the hole in the wall, turned on the vacuum cleaner, and sucked the termites out. And I have to tell you, it makes a very satisfying thwomp. Oh, that there are few sounds more gratifying than thump. That makes me just pulling termites out of your wall with the hose attachment of your vacuum cleaner. So, let me rotate, transform, rotate 90 degrees. Oh, that's the wrong way. There, let's rotate 90 more degrees. And another 90. Where's transform? There it is. 90 degrees. So there we go. So I use a bagless vac. So I have a plastic container that all the dirt and stuff goes into. And you can see a termite laying right there. And there's two of them that I just dumped the thing onto my bathroom sink. So those are termites. I ruined my vacuum? No, it works just fine. And there's some more in my sink. There's 5 of them right there. So, throughout the week, every so often, like every hour or so, I would go into the bathroom and I would get a little flashlight and stare in the hole in the wall and see if anyone was staring back. And if there was, I'd turn on the vacuum cleaner, which has been sitting in my bathroom all week, and just boom. Just pull them out of the wall. And at this point, I have pulled 102 termites out of my bathroom wall. Now, here's the interesting thing. I think the termites are getting smarter. I think they're planning. I think they're coming to get me. Because, I have not seen a single termite since last night. There have been none today. Not a single one. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't... Now, it's possible that there were only 102 termites and I got them all. Probably not the case. There's probably 1,000 of them or more in there. They're looking around, it's like, where's Jerry? Where's Barbara? Are we missing a few people? Where the hell is everybody? So, I think they might be coming to get me. They may be plotting their revenge. Did I count that 102 by hand? Yes, I did. I pretty much one suck, one thump. That, on average, pulled out about 4 at a time. The most I ever pulled out at one time was 7, and the least was 1. but it was usually around 4. So you might be thinking, well, Andrew, you're that weirdo who keeps, whenever you find a spider in your house, you put it outside. You're not a bug smashy dude. Did you kill these termites, or did you release them outside? I killed them. I smashed them and washed them down the sink. Now, as you can tell by the one in the upper right, he ain't doing so hot. The one on the left wasn't moving either. I'm willing to bet that I didn't have to smash him or drown him in the sink, because probably sucking him out of the wall with the vacuum cleaner was enough to give him a bug concussion. So that probably killed them, or they probably would have died. Some of them were still, we're still moving a bit, but I don't like smashing bugs, but I'm not going to take the time to put the termites outside, because they're just going to eat something else. Like, they'll just come back and eat my house or one of the trees outside. They're gonna. I put a spider outside and it eats bugs that I don't want. Termites I put outside and they're gonna eat things that I want. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what pest control has to say whenever they get around to getting here. They're probably going to show up with a vacuum with a hose attachment. It's like, oh, shoot, you beat us to it. So, yeah, termites. I wonder if I can argue against my rent increase. It's like, you want to raise my rent $60, $80, whatever the hell it's going up this month? I don't know. I don't think a home infested with termites is worth another $60 or $80. Of course, my landlord, Lord of all lands, would probably say, oh, well, I guess you should move then. Oh, Southern California is expensive. So, about a year and a half ago, at the start of the pandemic, shortly after we, at my place of business, were all sent home to work from home, and our hours were reduced, I found I had some free time. So I thought, I'll do a video project. I decided on A Middle-Aged Man Watches Gem and the Holograms, in which I'd watch the entire 65-episode run of Gem and the Holograms and make a video of me reacting to each successive episode. So I did. Took about 9 months to get through the entire series. It was a lot of fun. And as it happens, I am going to be hosting a music panel at the GemCon this year, so hey, if you want to attend GemCon, which is virtual this year, like it was last year, it's fun. I enjoyed last year's, and I'm a part of it this year, so fun stuff. Matthew says, I know some businesses that are now largely fully work from home and even sold their office space. I don't know that we've gotten rid of any of our office space, but like, my desk doesn't exist anymore. Neither do most of the offices. They're all storage now. So I have no place to go back to. What was I talking about? Oh, my video series for Gem and the Holograms. So these videos were me sitting on the couch of glory, just chatting about, I'd watch an episode and then I'd turn on the camera and talk about my thoughts and feelings on a cartoon for children from the 80s. It's actually really good. It's a musical, and if there's two things I like, it's animation and musicals, and this is both, so... So the first episode, I believe, I posted in early April of 2020. And earlier this week, Hasbro, the company that owns Gem and the Holograms, copyright claimed the first video in that series for using some footage from the show. Not any of the other 67 episodes, because I did 3 best music of season 1, 2, and 3. Just the first one. A year and a half later, well, that's kind of crappy of Hasbro to do. It's also crappy of YouTube to allow anyone to take advantage of its copyright system like that. Because a copyright owner, one, does not have to prove that they are the copyright owner. Hasbro, in this case, actually is the copyright owner. They own the copyright for Gem and the Holograms. But you don't have to prove you're the copyright owner, nor do you have to prove that there's been any infringement. YouTube don't care. So, Hasbro claimed my video, and I disputed the claim, pointing out that my work is fair use. So, let's read Section 107 of the Copyright Act, which discusses fair use. It says, the fair use of a copyrighted work, including such use by reproduction in copies or phonorecords is not being applicable here, or any other means specified by other section above, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. So in other words, now it goes on to say that fair use factors considered can include the purpose or character of the use, including whether it's commercial in nature or for nonprofit educational purposes, the nature of the work, the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, and the effect of the use on the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. Now, the video in question, my video, is about 7.5 minutes. It uses 5 clips of totaling approximately 70 seconds of footage from Gem and the Holograms from the first episode. The first episode is 23 minutes and 49 seconds. I used 70 seconds of it. Not sequentially either. 5 clips totaling about 70 seconds. And most of the clips I'm talking over. So this is clearly fair use. So I disputed the claim. Hasbro got back to me, or rather, Hasbro did not accept my dispute. So I appealed the claim. So now Hasbro has 30 days to either knock it the hell off or take me to court. It's not going to take me to court over this. It's just going to run out the clock. It's just going to do nothing. In fact, if I had to guess, I would guess that everything on Hasbro's side so far has not actually been the result of a human being making decisions. It's all been automated. This is something I've gone through before. It's just going to... 30 days will elapse. The 1.5 cents that my video makes in money over the next 30 days is being held in escrow and will be returned to me, which I won't see for 1.5 years until I earn about $100 in revenue, because Google AdSense only pays out every $100. So if you've earned $98, well, you ain't getting paid. Better hope you earn $2 in the next month, because you ain't seeing any of that until it's over 100. So Hasbro is in the wrong here. Hasbro, you're not going to win this. There's no benefit to you. The only thing you accomplish here is losing any respect I ever had for you. Good job. Oh, and I think probably the thing that makes me raise an eyebrow the most is how come it was okay? How come the other 67 videos are okay? Because they all use short clips from the series. How come it's just the first one? How come it was fine for the first year and a half, but now suddenly it's not? Now, what's probable is Hasbro just uploaded clips or the entire episode to the Content ID system, and it matched against me. Why it hasn't matched anything else, no idea. Probably depends on what they uploaded, but that's conceivably something that could have happened. They're like, hey, you know what? We should use the Content ID system to keep people from uploading full episodes of Gem and the Holograms. Well, that reminds me. I did best songs of season 1, 2, and 3 videos for that. And in the description of those videos, I linked to the music videos for those songs on Hasbro's channel, so that people could watch the video and the original music video and see what the hell I was critiquing. A couple of them, I think a grand total of 2, were not uploaded to Hasbro's channel, so I uploaded them to mine. But I did not monetize them, and I kept them unlisted. You can only get at them through the link provided in my description, and I only did that because Hasbro didn't have them on its channel. Hasbro claimed those, as it had every right to do, which I'm completely fine with, which is why I did not monetize them and why I kept them unlisted in the first place, because that's not the transformative use. That's not commentary or critique. That's just me uploading their copyright. But publishing a 7.5-minute review of a 24-minute episode of a cartoon that uses 70 seconds of that cartoon in 5 different clips, most of which is narrated over by me, is not an infringement of your copyright. People aren't going to go, well, shoot, why should I buy the Gem and the Holograms DVD set when I can just watch Andrew's review? Nobody's going to do that. So, not only are you going to lose this, Hasbro, and I am going to rub your face in it when you do, 29 days from now. Oh, the 550 people who follow me on Twitter, whatever it is, oh, they'll know, Hasbro. They'll know what you did. So, you're gonna lose, and you're wrong. You're not just wrong, but you're obviously wrong. You're wrong in a way that would make 7th graders embarrassed for you. This is embarrassing. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself, Hasbro. This is poor form. It's a great show, though. Release the if you release the soundtrack for Gem and the Holograms on CD or something, I'll buy it because it's great. So you should do that because I'll give you money for it. You still have all the masters, right? Hope so. That's some good stuff. Did I say DVD? I meant CD. Music. There's like 180 songs throughout the entire series. I would like a compendium of a multi-CD set. Or does anyone buy CDs anymore? I mean, I do, but or hell, release them on iTunes for 50 cents each or something. They're short songs. I mean, the songs average like 65 seconds. I mean, the songs are pretty short, but Matthew says, doubt they still have masters. It's a show from the 80s. Yeah, well, someone might have them in a garage. But I'm just saying, if if they, Gem and the Holograms, the full series album, I'd be all over that. It's some genuinely great music. All right, what do we have to talk about next? Oh, and I did in my appeal, I did send Hasbro a link to the portion of the Copyright Act which describes fair use. It's a short section, but I quoted it and linked it to them. You know, just so they know. Just so they know. But again, here's what's going to happen. Hasbro's going to do nothing. I don't think it did anything in the first place. I think it was all automated. It's just going to run out the clock for 30 days, and I'll get all of my videos revenue, all maybe 1 cent, maybe even 2 cents. Because honestly, the video's been up for a year and a half. Everyone who's going to watch it has pretty much watched it. I think the 200 views it has are about as much as it's going to get at this point. But, eh. Alright. Let me speak, once again, to a subject very near and dear to my heart. And that is the indisputable fact that, it doesn't matter, says it was definitely a bot. Yeah. The indisputable fact that console gaming is better than PC gaming. Now let me supplement my inarguable and correct assertion with the following personal anecdote. So, I've started playing Trails in the Sky, SC, second chapter. The 4th installment of that will be tomorrow. And I like playing with a controller, because keyboard and mouse sucks, depending on what type of game you're playing. Keyboard and mouse is wonderful for, like, the old Sierra adventures that used text parsers. Those work well. Point-and-click adventures, great for keyboard and mouse. Most puzzle games, like slidey tile puzzle games, you know, really popular stuff like Honey Pop. You know, the ones all the kids love. Those are great for keyboard and mouse. So some genres work well with keyboard and mouse. Some genres, I feel, work better with controller. I prefer using the controller for Trails in the Sky. Chaos says, you are quite right. Console gaming is far better. Matthew says also keyboard and mouse better for shooters. First-person shooters? Arguably. I actually prefer a controller for even first-person shooters. I feel I have more movement control. Like, certainly you can aim more accurately and faster with keyboard and mouse, but I feel like I'm more maneuverable with, as long as it's a good controller scheme. That is important. I still prefer generally controller for first-person shooters, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm trying to get my damn controller to work for Trails in the Sky, and I have it. I go into controller settings and I have it recognize that I have a PS4 controller plugged in. It says PS4 controller, and there's a little thing that says use PS4 controllers. I use PS4 controllers, and I go into the configuration settings, and because I'm a normal human being, I want to control the camera with the right analog stick. So I check the little box. It says analog stick camera. And I start the game, and the camera just spins around the character uncontrollably. Never stops, just spins around. I can invert the camera and make it spin the other way, but yeah, camera just spins around the character like the dead zone on the controller is off, and it's just stuck in the far right position. It just spins and spins and spins. Now, I found that if I remove the PlayStation configuration setting and just use like wireless controller. Actually, I've got this backwards. If I have it set up to use my PS4 controller, it recognizes it as an Xbox 360 controller, which it's not. But at least the right analog stick controls the camera. So all I have to do is just remap the buttons, right? Right. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. You know, I select the command, I go to hit the button, and nothing happens. I cannot remap the PlayStation controller when it thinks it's a Xbox 360. So I go to generic controller, and I can remap the buttons all I want, but I can't use the analog stick for the camera because when it's enabled, it just spins uncontrollably. Now there is a way, if I'm using the PS4 controller setting thingy, that I can just hit the PlayStation button and remap or rebind the keys manually that way. Unfortunately, that UI is one of the worst I've ever seen. It is very user unfriendly and really difficult to figure out how the hell to use it. I think I figured out how to bind particular keys to the keyboard, but I don't want that to be a permanent binding because I'd like to use the controller for other stuff. And also, I don't know what the hell the keyboard keys do in that game. No. What's the confirm button? What's the talk button? Is it enter? Is it space bar? Is it control? I have no idea. I could look it up, but that's a pain in the ass. So, what it looks like is I'm going to just... and what's particularly frustrating about this is it was working before. I went through all of Trails in the Sky 1 and the first 2 episodes of Trails in the Sky SC without a problem. I don't know why it's not working now. Is it something to do with my new graphics card? Maybe. But that's why consoles are better than PC, because with a video game console, you don't have to deal with this stupid bullshit. You just turn on the game, plug in the controller, and it just works. You don't have to you don't have to worry about driver installation or controller configuration. Yeah, you can rebind keys in some games if you want, and that's a nice option, but you never have to worry about the goddamn controller actually fucking working when you turn on a console. That ain't the case with PC. With a console, if I want to play a game, as long as it's actually downloaded and installed, I can turn it on and just play the game. With a PC, you want to play the game, even if it is downloaded and installed, you may have to fuck with the settings for an hour, and even then you may have to compromise, and even then you may not even get it to work. I hate PC gaming so much, I can't stand that obnoxious bullshit. I hate that. Is PC gaming superior to console gaming in some respects? Yeah. But not that one. And that one is one I value very greatly, which is why I personally prefer console gaming over PC gaming. So, if any of you have any suggestions of what I might try to get the goddamn right analog stick to work for Trails in the Sky SC through Steam, let me know in the comments. Because it was working before. I don't know why it's not working now. I don't know why my PS4 controller, when I open up the controller config, is listed as an Xbox 360 controller when Steam clearly recognizes it as a PS4 controller, because this is PS4 right on the bottom. I don't know why I can't remap the buttons when it thinks it's the wrong control. I mean, I wouldn't really care if it thought it was a 360 controller. Layout's exactly the same. And boy, you think, well, just use the layout they give you. I would, except it's terrible. It makes no sense. Like, trying to think of what the Xbox controller is. The X button, the one on the left, that's the confirm button for some reason. On what planet would that ever be the yes or confirm button? They seem almost random. Let's see. Werewolf prefers console to PC also. It doesn't matter makes a fine point. This particular instance could be a Steam issue, not necessarily a PC issue. But again, it was working before Steam. What did you do? What did you do, Steam? It is possible. But that's something I don't have to worry about on a console. You know, it's not like it's like, oh, shoot, the controller's not working for my PS4. I guess I'm going to have to buy the game on a different console. No, that's not how that works. But do I have to buy the game on good old games? I mean, Jesus. And Matthew says, I'll take some bugs on PC to still play a game I bought over 10 years ago. I can still play games on my Atari 2600 with no problem. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to actually hook it up to modern TVs, but the games and stuff, they work fine. You know? So that's... I mean, if you're talking about old games for a console that you didn't have originally, sure. But I mean, this is not a game I dug out of the closet and don't have a PSP for. This is a game that was gifted to me. Jared actually got me this one. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. That's really frustrating. So I just I hate that so much. I mean, I can still we'll still be playing the game tomorrow. It still works fine. I can move the camera with the triggers, the R1 and L1. You know, digital keys to move the camera is annoying because it's slow, but at least it works. So I can just turn the analog camera off and just use the digital keys. I can do it that way, but it sucks. I just want to use the right thumbstick to move the camera. Is that so much to ask? Oh, poor me. Poor me. Anyway. Let's see. Is it doesn't matter as an official controller? Yes, it is an as opposed to a third-party controller. Yes, it's the official PS4 controller. It's not a calibration issue. I did check that. Good thought, but I checked that. It's not a calibration issue. Because that's what it feels like, right? It feels like, oh, shoot, the stick thinks it's all the way to the right. It's a fine thought, but that's actually not the case. I did check that, though. That's not the case here. Xbox controller has better support because drivers are built into Windows. That's true. I don't want to spend as much as it costs to buy a video game on a damn controller because I have this controller already. I mean, I can, but again, I shouldn't have to. This should just work. You should just be able to... They have the same button layouts. It should just work. And it was working. And now it's not. For reasons. Because PC gaming. Because sometimes stuff just doesn't work anymore. Not something that ever happens on a console. Ever. This never happens. At least it hasn't to me. But yeah. So, yeah, actual real PS4 DualShock 4 controller. So, that's a bummer. Alright, so we're getting close to 8 o'clock, so quick fire stuff. Let's see. Saw the first episode of What If? Is alright. Can I say anything without spoiling it? Yeah. So the first episode is the conceit of What If, which is the Marvel Disney show, the new one. It's animated, which is cool. Love animation. The idea is, what if we did something different in one of our existing stories? How would it play out? So in the first episode, it's like, what if instead of Steve Rogers getting the super serum and becoming Captain America, what if Peggy Carter got the super serum and became Captain Carter? Okay, cool. Not much is different, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, so Peggy Carter is now Captain America. Well, she's Captain Carter, not Captain America. But so imagine the first Avengers movie. We get up to the lab experiment, super soldier injection-y thing. Shenanigans happen. Steve can't get in the thing. So Peggy gets in instead, and now she's a super soldier. Great. What changes? Unfortunately, not much. Pretty much the rest of the movie plays out almost exactly the same. There are some differences, but it's mostly exactly the same. Which is not to say it's not entertaining. I thought it was. But I hope subsequent episodes, for instance, I happen to know through the previews that one of the what if postulations are, what if the Ravagers, instead of abducting Peter Quill, abducted T'Challa? Well, hopefully not pretty much beat for beat the entire Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Hopefully something very different. Because otherwise, it's a little disappointing, at least to me. I mean, it is neat to see a different person go through this mostly the same story and seeing how small things change, but the overall arc was almost exactly the same. Like, you could watch this first episode of What If, and while now there's not much reason to should I see First Avenger now? Nah, just imagine Steve and Peggy's role, and it's mostly the same movie. Maybe they did that on purpose to kind of ease us into the concept, but my hope is that subsequent episodes, whatever little change they do, creates bigger ripples, creates bigger differences, because, I mean, it would be neat to watch T'Challa in Peter Quill's role in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. It's pretty great. I really like that movie. And it would, as neat as it would be to see T'Challa in that role, I've already seen the movie. Again, it would still be kind of neat, but I'm just hoping it does something a little different. Or very different. Preferably very different. Aesthetically, I'm not really... I don't really like it aesthetically. I think there's something weird with the character modeling and the lighting that just kind of makes it look weird. The characters' faces are pretty stiff and don't animate very well. Like, the characters are the actors are much more expressive than their characters are. So the voice might say, "Holy mackerel!" And the character's like, it just doesn't line up as well. Which is not to say it's ugly. It's just not quite working for me. It also, from the previews I've seen, it looks like some of it might actually be rotoscoping the original movies. Some of the animation's pretty darn good. Some of the action sequences are actually well conceived, well thought out, well staged, and well executed. I really love the fact that if you've ever seen the Agent Carter series that they did a couple of years ago, one of the things I loved about that series was Peggy's fighting style was a brawler. She punch you. Kicks? Nah. Takedowns, grapples, throws, not really. Nah, she's gonna throw haymakers and knock you on your ass. That's how Peggy fights. She throws fists. It's great. It's wonderful. They actually kept that for Captain Carter's fighting style. She still is much more acrobatic than she was in Agent Carter, and she still chucks the shield frisbee around. But her fighting style is definitely distinct from Steve's, and that was really appreciated. She's a lot more just beat people over the head kind of moves than Steve is, and that was a lot of fun to watch. Some of the dialogue is a little hokey, and some of the actors, most of which are the original actors who portrayed the characters in the film, are back to voice their own characters in the cartoon. Some of them are not very good. Like Sebastian Stan, dude, I love you, but you're not very good at voiceover. sorry to say, but granted, your dialogue was kind of crap, but yeah, so was Peggy's, and Haley Atwell actually delivered her crappy dialogue a bit better. But overall, I enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing next week's episode. Seen any good anime lately? I'm still watching that How a Realist Saved the Kingdom. It's called something like that. I'm enjoying that. Oh, there's the something about Black Company Dungeon something or other. It's not great, but there's some interesting element. I kind of fell off that a bit. I don't know if I'll keep watching that. I think I'm in for the Hero Kingdom Realist thing for the long haul. Black Company, whatever that one's called, is it's got a lot of elements that I quite like, but it's got a lot of elements that I quite don't. So I'm kind of wishy-washy on that one. And finally, I saw the animated Monster Hunter movie, Legends of the Guild. I did not see the live-action movie that came out a while ago. Looked terrible, and was exactly what I didn't want. Shadow's House? Shadow's House, huh? Charlotte. Don't recognize either of those names. Charlotte. What services are those on? Crunchyroll or Funimation, which didn't Sony just buy both of those? Like, was it Sony? Whoever bought Funimation just picked up Crunchyroll too. I think it's Sony. I hope they lean more towards Crunchyroll because I feel their layout and player works better than Funimation's, but it was terrible. Don't watch it. I think video game movies will ever work. Yeah, it was Sony. Okay, yeah. So Legends of the Hidden Temple. No, Legends of the Guild. Legends of the Hidden Temple game show from the 90s. It was fun. No, Monster Hunter Legends of the Hidden Damn it! Legends of the Guild. Sports the worst show poster I've ever seen. Someone should be fired. They should be, or at least very embarrassed by the... Oh my god, it's... Seriously, look up the poster for Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild. It is the worst. Charlotte, Crunchyroll. Okay. Okay, I'll check those out. I don't think I've heard of either of them, so I'll think about it. Actually heard there was a movie that someone mentioned, Shoko something or other. It's about a team of... apparently there was a show, and now there's going to be a movie, and it was a Shoko Bako or something. It's about people who are trying to get an anime to, the production of an anime. So it's an anime about people making an anime, and apparently there's a movie about that same studio trying to do a movie. And I immediately thought, Is that like Animation Runner Kuromi? Kuromi, one of the two, which I actually have over there somewhere. Show and tell. Let's see. Yeah. Kuromi. All right. So, yeah, Animation Runner Kuromi, which is a short OVA about a team of people trying to put an anime together, and it's cute. It's pretty funny. Oh god, it's hot in here. So, Monster Hunter: Legends of the Guild is less than an hour. So it doesn't have time for things like character development or plot. It just hits the gas and it goes. But Shiro Balo? Yeah, it's something like that. Hell's bells. That's a K in it, like Shiro Baka, Bako, something. Shiro Bako. Yeah, there you go. 24 episode anime and movie coming out pretty quick. Yeah, because Shiro Bako. It looks like it was on Crunchyroll at one time, but they actually don't have it there anymore. They have a listing for it, but the episodes aren't there, which is a shame. I would have liked to seen what the fuss is about. If any of you actually seen Animation Runner Kuromi? Just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, everyone in the chat is Shiro Bako. Monster Hunter: Legends of the Hidden Temple, hosted by Andrew, who answer questions about different monsters and hunt them. That's okay. All right, I'd be for that. Okay, so if Monster Hunter the live action movie was exactly what I didn't want for Monster Hunter movie, Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild is at least heading in the direction of exactly what I want. Whatever you think of the movie, I thought it was all right. It is, if nothing else, a Monster Hunter movie. It is very clear that the creatives behind the show care about Monster Hunter and actually wanted to make a Monster Hunter movie. I don't think they had the resources to do it, though. I'm guessing, because this has been in the works for like 4 years, I'm guessing, the pandemic had a lot to do with it, probably some other shifting priorities, lack of money, probably people kept getting pulled off the project, because it's interesting, the animation and the character modeling is always janky, but the editing is like half janky. It's clear that they put a lot of effort into a lot of scenes, and some other scenes felt really rushed. But there is a lot of genuinely really good, really funny stuff in this show. If you like Monster Hunter, it's worth a watch. If you don't care, so on a scale of 1 to 10, let's do a rating because those are fun. I would give it a 5 for anyone who's not familiar with Monster Hunter, especially if you're younger, because it's got monsters in it, and it's colorful, and it's quick, and things explode, and did I mention there are monsters in it? There's no greatsword in it, which is kind of weird. I was kind of surprised, like, no one has a greatsword. They've got the insect glaive, but no one has a greatsword? That's a choice. But if you're a Monster Hunter fan, I might bump that up to 7, because there's a lot of, ooh, I know what that is. Ooh, I know what that is. Ooh, they're doing the thing. The Kinsect latches onto Lunastra's face and sucks goo out of its face and runs back to its to the insect glaive user and buffs her with red bug gunk, which gives a attack buff. It's like the movie doesn't explain what it's doing, but I know what it's doing because I play the game. There's a scene in the movie where someone tries to kill a Malinx with a hammer, which is pretty damn great. He's like dragging the damn hammer behind him, like Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2. You know how Pyramid Head walks around stalking people, dragging that big ass knife sword thing, almost a great sword, behind it. He's like dragging this hammer. He's like, I'm gonna flatten this little Malinx. Oh, it's funny. There's this wonderful part where they're fighting a Devil Joe, and the insect glaive user gets paralyzed, and it does the same lightning crackle effect, and the Kinsect grabs her by the ankle and tries dragging her out of the way while the Devil Joe is fighting a Conga Lala. And it's actually well shot, and it's fairly tense because you're like, oh god, is she going to get stepped on? She's slowly being dragged across the battlefield. There's a lot of really good stuff in this film. It really suffers from being only 50-some minutes long, because that's really not long enough to develop characters or really get a great story going. It just kind of rushes through the whole thing. I think I think Monster Hunter. I think this really could have benefited from being an episodic series, because it's kind of how monster hunting works, right? I mean, each episode we go after a different beast. Maybe you have an invader like Basil Geese, come crashing in, or Devil Joe, or something like, or they go after a Korapeko, and then it calls a Rathalos in, and they all run, building up to fighting an Elder Dragon. And I think if they had the time and the budget to do it, I think this could make a really fun series. They actually already made a Monster Hunter series out of, or rather a series out of Monster Hunter stories. I watched the first episode and I really liked how true to Monster Hunter it was, but it's not targeting my age group, so I didn't really care for it. But I appreciated it for what it was. And if you like Monster Hunter stories, you'll probably like the show, because it's very Monster Hunter stories. I'm not a fan, so that didn't do it for me. But I always like it when adaptations of existing properties, even if it's something I don't like, I don't expect you to, like, if you're gonna make a Strawberry Shortcake movie, you don't have to cater to me. Just make a good Strawberry Shortcake movie, I don't care. I'm not a fan. Was it? It was Rainbow Bright that actually had the movie, and I actually saw that in the theaters. I don't remember anything about it. There was a waterfall, and, that's all I remember. So my sister got to pick one. She wanted to see the Rainbow Bright movie, and then I got to pick one, and we went to see Action Jackson. So, turned out okay. Let's see. Great Sword isn't very flashy. Well, I think it can be, but, maybe that was just, there's 14 major weapons. It's hard to stuff all of them in. Let's see. They have bow. They have bow gun. They have switch axe. I was actually upset no charge blade, because that's one of my favorites. Dual blades, sword and shield, insect glaive. Who am I missing? And a hammer. They try to smack up Malinx with a hammer. So there's, unless I'm missing, that's 7. That's half of them. That's pretty good for a single really short movie. The only decision, and I'll get into spoilers here, I suppose. 3 Ultimate's your favorite? I'd have to think about that, because there's things I like about all the ones I've played. But yeah, I started with a Try. Try was my first, so yeah. It doesn't matter. It's a beast with a great sword, switch axe, charge blade, great sword or fates. I think probably Charge Blade is my favorite, but I've mained Sword and Shield, not Hammer, Hunting Horn, Dual Blades, and Charge Blade are the 4 that I've mained. I've played all of them. I like Gun Lance. I like Switch Axe. Um, I don't care for any of the projectile ones. I don't care for the bow guns or the bow. Hammer's all right. Lance I don't care for, and Greatsword I don't care for. Not that they're bad weapons. I'm just, there's 14 completely different weapons. Not all of them are going to be for you, and those few, at least so far, haven't been. Oh, Insect Glaive, I thought I would like, but because Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle, so I'm like, oh, it's like a bow staff. I'm going to love this, and I didn't. I think it's really the Kinsect. So kudos to the movie for making me give a crap about the actual Kinsect. They gave it kind of a personality, so that was cool. One thing that I'm a little weirded out by, and here's some spoilers. Pretty much everybody dies. I mean, I know that was a weird choice. That was I'm not sure how I feel about that, because of the Monster Hunter games I played, no one ever dies. That's kind of the thing. It's tense and suspenseful, and there's these giant monsters, but the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get knocked unconscious, and a bunch of cats are going to drag your ass on a cart back to camp. No one ever dies. Even Aiden, the protagonist of this thing, when you're fighting Fatalis at the end of Iceborne, he gets completely immolated, but he walks it off. He's fine. I mean, I was actually sitting there going, oh, hell, he's dead. They just killed someone in a Monster Hunter. And then the smoke clears and he's like, shoot. It's like, okay, he's fine. But no, people get dead in this movie. Like, and have funerals. They don't come back later. They're dead and buried. And it's weird. And I don't know that I agree with that choice. I mean, I know you want to make the Elder Dragons particularly fearsome, but for me, Monster Hunter is a world where everything's going to be okay. Because we all work together to overcome these impossible odds. And everything turns out okay. Nobody ever really dies. I mean, there are legends of, Fatalis, to wipe this entire, Castle Shrade off the, everyone died. Oh, this was terrible. Everyone, you hear stories of people dying, but no one actually ever dies. Maybe they do in the games I haven't played, and I haven't played them all, so maybe in 4 generations or something, as part of the story, one of the characters dies and gets eaten by a Rajang or something, I don't know. Or farted to death by a Congalala. They give everyone the Neon Genesis treatment. It's not quite like that, but, hunting monsters is a dangerous business. It is, but there's one death that I actually did like, because one death worked for me. The first major death, you'll know if you watch the movie. First major death, I was like, okay, but that was pretty awesome. The second one, they cut away from in a way that I was like, did that person die? Did that person die? And then later you're at the funeral and you see the character with their weapon sticking out of the grave, and it's like, oh, I guess that character did die. Oh, okay. That sucks. It's not an incorrect decision, I don't think, but it's one that I don't know that I agree with. It just feels wrong for Monster Hunter somehow, But your mileage may vary. So that's it for tonight. Join me tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, for some more of Trails in the Sky SC. I'm looking forward to it, even if I can't control the camera with the right analog stick, like nature intended. Grumble, grumble. Alright, so, have an excellent evening, everyone, and I hope to see you for some gaming goodness tomorrow afternoon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.